Olivia Nesbit. I remember her. I saw her in The Maid of Moravia at the Adelphi Theatre when I was 19. She had a wonderful voice. Didn't she run off to India with a dashing hussar?
She went to India, yes, with her husband, Mr. James Lamberton. Unfortunately, the Indian climate didn't appear to suit Mrs. Lamberton, so the family is coming back here. In fact, the children are here already with their grandmother. A boy, aged 12 and a girl of 6. Well, Mr. Bax, the family solicitor, has requested me to find someone to look after the Lamberton children. And under the circumstances, he will interview the candidates. But I should warn you, there are drawbacks. In fact, it's very much a case of finding the right person.
Of course.
To start with, Mrs. Nesbit lives in a place called Thorn Ness on the Suffolk coast. A very isolated spot.
Somewhere quiet just at the moment would suit me very well, Miss McQuaid.
And I should warn you that she lives on her own, so that you would be required to help with the housework, even with the cooking. However, the pay is excellent. £2, 10 shillings a week. Considerably more, am I right, than you were receiving from Mrs. Sackville at Bristol.
Bath. Yes, indeed. Any other drawbacks, Miss McQuaid?
Yes, the children. However, I'll let Mr. Bax tell you about them, but in his own words.
The boy's a liar, and the girl's a little madam. I understand you were brought up in India, Miss Gray.
Yes, in the Punjab mostly. My father was an engineer.
Then I'm sure you'll still have a few words in Urdu. That'll come in handy with the children. Konhai, Jaldi, Jaldi, Nanny ji.
You lived in India yourself?
Spent 2 years in Kolkata. Dreadful place.
From what Miss McQuaid told me, Mrs. Lamberton hasn't found it congenial.
No, indeed not. The Lamberton estates are in Bihar. Old indigo plantations. James has gone over to jute largely, but it's uphill work these days for the jute wallers. And Mrs. Lamberton has been unwell for some time now. I expect them home within a month or two.
And how long have the children been back here?
I met them off the boat 3 weeks ago now. They travelled with friends of the family. We spent a day in London. And then Mrs. Nesbit came up and took them back to Thorn Ness. I think you'll find that relations between Mrs. Nesbit and her son-in-law have become rather strained. You'll get a somewhat one-sided account of the marriage from Mrs. Nesbit. But then, if what I've heard of you is true, I'm sure you'll manage admirably.
Oh. Oh. Jamie, it's 3 o'clock, dear. Time to go to the station. Children. Nanny Gray?
Yes.
Oh, I'm so pleased to see you.
How do you do?
You had a comfortable journey, I hope.
Perfectly comfortable, thank you.
A neighbour of mine, Mr. Starkey, has very kindly lent me his car and his chauffeur.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I hope you've been adequately warned about my circumstances here, Nanny.
Yes.
I'm sure you're not accustomed to being received like this in an empty house, but I have lit the fires and I do hope it'll be warm enough.
But the children...
Oh,
Well, they were in the middle of a game. And they do get so wrapped up in their games. Besides, I didn't want them standing waiting out here in the bitter cold. The trains are so frequently delayed. I don't suppose you know Thorn, Ness, do you, Nanny? Well, he's only been here for about 10 years, what there is of it. It was all the idea of a Mr. Ogilvy to build a holiday village round the lake.
Javan.
What, Javan?
Tom Teak.
Teak.
Well, this is your room, Nanny. It seems to have warmed up nicely. Well, I'll show you round later, shall I? Young Jamie's room is off the landing directly below with Allergy next to him. Well, I expect you'll see them at tea when they've finished their game.
This is very cosy.
Well, to be quite honest with you, it was the box room. But we moved into chest of drawers and this is the wardrobe. Oh, and this is a sort of glorified store cupboard in here. Goes right on into the attic. Full of bric-a-brac. Built on the cheap. I rather think this was intended as a summer home. You know, I'm only too happy to give them their freedom after what they've been through.
Of course. You see, I went to India myself when I was 2 with my parents. And when I returned, I came back with an image of a country covered with strawberry fields. Shops full of chocolate bars, cream teas.
I don't think you quite understand, Nanny. I expect Gordon Bax was well discreet, but these children have escaped from a nightmare. They've seen ditches full of corpses when the cholera swept through Bihar. They've known drunkenness and violence, too. More than once, they've seen their father try to kill their mother. Oh, yes, Nanny. Yes, more than once.
More tea, Nanny.
Oh, of course. Thank you, James.
I'll do it, dear, I'll do it.
I can manage.
I'm afraid we're rather cramped here, Nanny, but the kitchen's even smaller.
You take milk, don't you?
Yes, thank you, James.
We brought this tea back especially for Granny. Best Darjeeling.
It's delicious.
Oh, that reminds me, Nanny, do you like jalebis?
Jalebis. I haven't had any since I was a child.
Well, I think we have a few left.
Oh.
Olivia knows how I love them, and she sent some back with the children. Yeah,
Oh, that's a beautiful box.
isn't it? Olivia gave me that 10 years ago in Darbanga.
Oh,
Nanny?
thank you.
Young man. Lally?
Goodness, that does bring it all back, doesn't it? We used to eat these on the veranda sometimes after Barakana. Our old Nanny used to make the most awful noise sucking the juice out of them. Dreadful. I can see my father's expression now, especially if we had guests.
My father shot a panther once on the veranda.
Ah, Jamie.
He did, didn't he, Lally? Are you saying you don't believe me?
Now, Jamie, you must remember that your grandmother isn't as used to panthers on the veranda as you or I. Isn't that right? Allergy, won't you have one?
Some tea cake.
Teak.
Oh, Jamie, don't tease your sister. You know perfectly well we haven't any tea cake today. I'll buy you some tomorrow. Would you like some? She hasn't eaten anything for days. Lally, dear, would you like some tea cake?
Roti maccancini, chota babanini. Tumti kai?
Teak.
Oh, so that's what Jamie meant this afternoon when he said some tea cake. Tum tea kai, meaning are you all right? Well, now, have I broken your code? It's a jolly good one. My little sister and I used to talk in Urdu sometimes, when we didn't want relatives to understand. Do you know any songs in Urdu? Our ayah used to sing them to us. Did you have an ayah? An English nanny? What was she like?
Count high. Oh, sorry. Hello. Nanny.
It's too warm in here. We should be damping this thing down. You should be going to sleep.
Good God, no, not yet, old thing. Don't put that in the way. I like looking at the coals. I know a man at home who can walk on them. He's a friend of mine. He's teaching me how to do it.
Yes, well, the trick I'd like you to pick up is how to fold up your clothes.
I can catch wildcats, you know. And I know how to skin them. I've got hundreds of their skins at home.
Yes, I'm sure you have, Jamie, but this is your home now. And it's also your responsibility to help your granny to keep it tidy.
Why hasn't she got any servants? Apart from you, I mean. Is she horrid to them?
No. Many people here can't afford servants. It's different here, Jamie. You have to do all sorts of things for yourself. You'll get used to it.
I suppose so.
Tell me, is Lalage all right? Why isn't she eating?
Oh, that. Granny doesn't understand. Lally just never eats. Even at home. At Darbangor, I mean. And she hates puddings. You didn't believe me about the wildcats, did you? But it's true. I haven't got hundreds, but I've got two. 2 skins.
You should have brought them here. Cheer this room up a bit. I'll tell you what. I'm sure your grandmother could spare one of her photographs of your mother. Shall I go and ask her? We could put it by your bed.
There was one in here when we arrived. I didn't want it. It was... I couldn't recognize Mother in those funny clothes and things.
Well, never mind. I'm sure we could find one.
No, thank you. But can I put down my hunting knife?
She should be singing in the Royal Opera House. She would be if only she'd stayed here.
Mrs. Nesbit, you said the children saw their father try to kill her. How do you know that? What I mean is, did the children tell you?
No, of course not.
Your daughter, then, she wrote to you. Why did Mr. Lamberton try to kill her?
Oh, please, Nanny. Not while we're listening to this heavenly music.
Then perhaps we could turn off the heavenly music, Mrs. Nesbit.
Never speak like that to me again, Nanny. You are here to keep the children out of mischief till their mother returns, not pry into family affairs.
I am here to help 2 children who, in your own words, have escaped from a nightmare. Now, I insist that you tell me the truth, or I shall pack my bags.
I had no idea what their life was like until I visited them. The dirt, the smell, that heat. Day and night without relief. And worst of all, the people. Nothing to do all day but drink and fight and fornicate. Oh, it suits Lamberton down to the ground. The Europeans are looser than the half-castes. No doubt you remember.
What was it they witnessed in India, Mrs. Nesbit?
I'll make it up to them, Nanny. I'll make it up to them.
I smell the body of a dead Hindu. Here. Here.
Can you imagine how bestial a man must be when even the Indians won't work for him? And when Olivia remonstrated with him, he beat her too in front of everyone, children, servants.
You saw it?
Well, he'd never have dared in front of me, but, oh, I know what's been going on. Olivia's never stopped writing to me. It's her lifeline, she says.
And her illness, Mrs. Nesbit. How did that come about?
Illness? What illness? There's nothing the matter with Olivia.
Mother Darkness, Night Mother who rules the dark fortnight of winter, to you I dedicate this goat.
Cat.
Cat. I smell the body of a dead Hindu.
Here! What on earth is going on in here?
Nothing. Go back to your room.
I beg your pardon. Lalaji, go and wash yourself at once. Ghusl le aao, jao, jaldi. Well, were you planning on showing off your prowess at skinning cats?
Just a game. I wasn't really going to skin it. But I could have.
Give me the knife, please.
No.
At once, Jamie.
I could put a spell on you, you know.
By all means. Now just hand me the knife and go and wash your face. Then come back and clean all this mess up.
I'm not a servant.
What did I hear you say? I hope it was yes, Nanny.
Yes, Nanny.
Dear Mr. Bax, the situation here is much as you said it would be.
Race you upstairs.
James and Lalaji are high-spirited children, and Mrs. Nesbit indulges them, hoping to make them forget what happened in India. She tells me their father is a murderous bully and that the children have witnessed terrible scenes. I have every hope of making friends with them.
Oh, well done, Nanny. There's a good girl. And now for our little treat. I'm afraid the last of the jalebis. Oh. Oh, they're not here. Have either of you children been at the jalebis?
No, Granny.
Well, but I always put them back here. Sure I haven't moved them. Look, children, I don't mind about the sweets, but it's that box. That box is very dear to me.
What worries me is that you and Mrs. Nesbit say very different things about their parents and their life in India. When I mentioned Mrs. Lamberton's illness, Mrs. Nesbit denied all knowledge of it. Please tell me, without beating about the bush, what is her illness?
How long has she been gone? Damn.
What's the matter?
Gone fat. It won't seem to catch like this.
Now, Lally.
Help! Fire! Jaldi! Jaldi, Granny G! Jaldi! Jaldi!
Oh, I'm coming, children.
Mrs. Nesbit, what's going on?
Fire! Can't you smell it?
Jaldi! Jaldi!
Oh, look out! It's a night now.
Come on, out. Quickly.
It's all right. It's out now, children. It's all right. But good heavens, this is altogether quite ridiculous. Those children steal my box and then deliberately start a fire so that I should find the thing in your cupboard.
Ridiculous to you, Mrs. Nesbit, but from their point of view, accustomed to seeing servants dismissed for stealing, it would seem a logical way to get rid of me.
But why? Why should they want to get rid of you? Don't they like you? Look here, Nanny, do you know what you're saying? I mean to say, the boy's careless, thoughtless sometimes. I warned him to keep the fire guard in his place, but these elaborate accusations of yours, dear me.
Then how precisely did the box come to be in the cupboard in my room, Mrs. Nesbit?
Well, I must have taken it upstairs with me for some reason, looking for something in the storeroom and left it there. Obviously.
It didn't work, did it, Jamie? I found the box before Granny. I've given it back to her now.
That was silly of you. Now she will suspect you.
Of course she won't. She knew straight away it wouldn't have been me.
You don't know Granny. She sees what she wants to see. Like most people.
Like your parents.
Aren't you going to beat me? Why not? Are you afraid of me? You ought to be, you know. I meant what I said the other night. I can put a spell on you. All I need is a little piece of your clothing to get you into trouble. Would you beat me if I did that? Would you?
Oh, there you are. I was wondering if you wouldn't like an afternoon off for a change. Mr. Starkey has very kindly lent us his car with his driver chappie to take us all into Felixstowe to the theatre. Well, you're perfectly at liberty to come if you like. I mean, is anything wrong, Nanny?
No, of course not. This Mr. Starkey, is he a tallish man with a brush moustache?
Yes.
He used to be in the Indian Civil Service.
Yes.
On the seafront. He was on the seafront.
Well, of course I didn't recognize you, my dear girl. I'd never have recognized you in that uniform. Go sit down.
Oh.
One or two mementos. Mind you, I'm surrounded with them here. Thorn Ness is something of a club for old colonials. You know, don't suppose you'll remember, but your father used to cause me the most frightful trouble out in India, always accusing his workmen of stealing from the stores, made my life hell. Isn't he near Banbury somewhere?
That's right.
Good heavens, Barbara Gray, Will. But what on earth made you want to become a nanny? Last thing I heard, you were married to a chap who ran a cinema, was it? Or was that my imagination?
No, I was married.
Divorced?
If you should see Mrs. Nesbit and happen to mention that you know me, I'd be grateful if you'd draw a veil over that piece of information.
Good heavens, yes. Just because you've suffered a bit. The more you've suffered, the better you'll teach, I should have thought. What are they like, the little Lamertons? Yes, I've met young Jamie. He seems to have a fairly high opinion of himself. But then youngsters who've spent their childhood in India often grow up thinking they're some kind of god.
Did you know the Lamertons?
After my time, Danielle. Mind you, you do hear things along the grapevine, even in retirement.
That's what I was hoping. You see, I've heard some dreadful things already from Mrs. Nesbit.
Oh?
Lamerton attacking his wife.
Don't know anything about that. In fact, I've never heard a word against him. But the wife, singer, wasn't she? Well, I've heard him mentioned more than once. Went round the bend 3 or 4 years ago, after her baby died. Tragic story. Been mad as a hatter ever since.
Was it a boy or a girl, the baby that died?
A boy. No need to look at me like that.
Like what?
As if you're so frightfully sorry for me. In India, babies die all the time. Widow Latamy next door had one stolen by a tiger.
James.
It's true. Honestly, it is. How do you know about the baby? Who told you? Has Daddy written to you? He hasn't written to me, not once. Not once since we've been here.
James, it's locked. It's winter.
This one's Granny's. I stole the key. This is going to be my house. I'm going to live here.
I'm not your enemy, James. Believe me. I want you to have a friend. I want you to have someone you can talk to.
We've got Lally. She can come and live here too.
Tell me about India.
Go away. I don't want you feeling sorry for me. Go away, you're not my mother. Go back to your house, go on. Jaldi, Jaldi, servant.
I only meant to... You beast, you little beast.
Are you going to thrash me then? In here. No one will see.
Once, I woke up, and there was an animal on the floor. And the window had bars in it. And the moonlight went in stripes across his back when he moved. And Nanny Lamerton said it was the leg-eater animal. It bites your legs if you get out of bed at night.
Oh, I'm sure it wasn't. Who was Nanny Lamerton?
Our English nanny, at home.
And she said there was an animal that bit your legs if you got out of bed at night. I think she was teasing.
No, she wasn't. She's horrid, always saying frightening things.
Why didn't she come back with you? You don't miss her?
No.
Jamie, does he?
She beat Jamie, sometimes when it wasn't his fault. And she still beat him.
Oh, I don't think that's very nice at all.
And anyway, she was always sorry.
How do you mean?
She used to come into our room and say she was sorry. And she used to sit on Jamie's bed and cry.
And give him a kiss. And hug him tight and cry.
I like you.
Good. Now, tell me some more about Nanny Lammerton. It was wrong of you to keep me in the dark, Mr. Bax. As soon as I had little Lalage confidence, all the facts came out. It seems that when Mrs. Lammerton was expecting the baby, the one that died, they engaged an English nanny, Nanny Lammerton, she was known as. And when the baby died and Mrs. Lammerton's illness began to show itself, there's no need to put a polite face on it any longer, Mr. Bax. I found someone who told me quite clearly what the illness is. And when it began, Nanny Lammerton was kept on to look after Jamie and Lalage. The woman was elderly and quite clearly the worst kind of Victorian tyrant, beating the children and then feeling ashamed of herself. It's a familiar story. Is it any wonder the child shows masochistic traits?
What sort of traits? Oh, Nanny, state it simply and don't spare my blushes. I'm unacquainted with this new psychological terminology.
She used to beat Jamie and then smother him with kisses. The boy is young. Naturally, he associates these kisses with his nanny's violence. In other words, he's aroused by a beating because of the promise of what usually follows it.
I see.
Mr. Bax, the boy is in need of urgent care. Expert care. That's why I came directly to you.
It's very interesting, Nanny. Very interesting indeed. How astute of you to piece together all the clues. However, there is one flaw in your argument as far as I can see.
And what is that?
There was no Nanny Lammerton. Not then, not now, not ever, I'm afraid. Nanny, I'm not saying that these children are devious by nature. But do remember, they are the children of a theatrical mother.
I remember snakes would come up the bathroom waste pipe. My father used to shoot them.
My father shot a pie dog once. It was mad. I'm not old enough for a gun, but I used to be allowed to go with Salim, he's a hill boy, into the jungle sometimes. And I remember he'd take me on his shoulders, and I'd pretend that he was an elephant and I was hunting tigers.
Nanny, can we go right into the middle of the lake? Granny says there's a monster there.
Well, we can go and look.
Oh, please, can we? Granny says there is a monster. She's got a book of it.
These can go on the floor. No scorpions here, Jamie. No matter what you and Lalage saw in the lake. Did you enjoy today?
Yes, I did rather. You miss India too, don't you?
I think about it often.
You liked it then?
Oh, yes. Except when it was too hot. I like the early mornings.
Granny says the heat can drive you mad.
I'm sure it can.
Is that what drove my mother mad, do you think?
Jamie, hasn't your father talked to you about that? Explained things to you?
He said she listened far too long to the brain fever bird.
But Jamie, surely it was your baby brother's death that...
Oh, no. She was Nanny Lammerton long before that. That's what Lally and I called her, when she was cruel and beat us. She went just like a nanny we knew at the Radcliffes, Nanny Radcliffe. She was probably mad too.
So... I see. Did your father know?
That we called her Nanny Lammerton when she was mad? No, that's a secret.
No. Did your father know that your mother beat you? Didn't he say anything?
He said she wasn't herself.
And was all this happening when you left India?
Well, Mother's been in hospitals and places for a while. I'm awfully bored here, you know. When am I going to school?
As soon as your parents return, I'm sure they'll find somewhere for you to go. You'll see. It won't be long now.
Mother's never coming back.
Jamie, what makes you say that?
It's what Granny says. And anyway, Father's here already.
Here? In England?
Yes, of course. Granny got a letter this morning, addressed in Father's handwriting. It had an English stamp on it.
The boy's imagining things, Nanny. There was a letter, yes, but from someone quite else. It was from a colleague of my husband's. When you know how easy it is to mistake the handwriting on an envelope.
Why hasn't Jamie heard from his parents while he's been here?
Well, I can't answer for his father.
But what about his mother? Has Mrs. Lamberton written to you? You said she used to write to you regularly, that it was her lifeline. But you never mentioned she'd been in hospital. When I asked you about her illness, you flatly denied it. You never told me about the baby that died. I don't even know where the children's parents are. Are they returning at all?
I've long had to face the fact that I shall never see Olivia again. But he's not coming to the...
Mrs. Nesbit, please.
The child that died, Nanny. He's never forgiven her for that, never.
He blamed your daughter for the baby's death?
No, not for its death, for its life. He said the child was fathered by another man. He, of all people, to talk about like that about Olivia. My Olivia. He's persecuted her, he's tormented her. He's trying to drive her insane so he can have her put away. And if he fails, he'll kill her.
Just one game?
In a moment. I should like to see you as soon as possible. And unless you are ready to confide in me, no matter how distressing the truth may be.
I have a gentleman here who's very anxious to meet you, Miss Gray. Mr. James Lamberton.
How do you do, Nanny? I trust you left the children in good health.
Yes, indeed, and anxious to hear from you.
Of course.
I think we owe Nanny Gray something of an explanation. Isn't that right, James?
Oh, certainly, certainly.
Do sit down, Nanny.
Mr. Lamberton, do I take it you've been in England for some while?
Yes.
With Mrs. Lamberton?
Yes, with my wife. She's undergoing medical treatment at an institution near London. 10 years ago, Miss Gray, I sailed with my wife and a 2-year-old son. Not for India. Not for the India of unrest and sedition, fading glory, failing crops, but some sort of Samarkand of Olivia's imagination. An India culled from Kipling and what she'd read about Simla. Assignations under a baobab tree, Bengal lances at her feet, God knows what. I'd warned her. The days of indigo were over, my grandfather's days. They were his plantations in Bihar. In the old days, the indigo planters ranked with the tea planters in the pecking order. Now, as European traders go, we jute-wallahs are nearly so grand. To my wife's chagrin. Well, we survived by dint of hard work. I spent more time expediting orders in Calcutta than I did at home. And poor Olivia, she became depressed and frighteningly short-tempered with the children. Well, she found her Lancer in my absence. More Bengal than Lancer, if the truth be told. An Indian lover. She had his baby, Cholera killed it. Oh, it was an Indian-looking baby, if you're interested to know. Olivia fell into a trance. Except for outbursts of appalling violence towards me, the children, the servants, she wasn't particular. First, I put it down to grief. Then congenital insanity, knowing her mother. Then, finally, a doctor diagnosed the sleeping sickness. Affects the mind, he said. Well, she was sick, and most of the time she slept. The rest of the time. Oh, don't ask me what she's suffering from. India terrified her, fascinated her, seduced her in the end, then slapped her in the face.
But she's home now, thank God.
Yes. Some new kind of chemical treatment for diseases of the brain. That's what I brought her home to.
Forgive me, Mr. Lammerton, but why couldn't you have visited the children? Jamie is desperate for news of you.
Is he? Well, very simply, Nanny, I cannot tell him or his sister where their mother is.
What? Why not?
Or how she is. It comes to the same thing. They must not know.
But good heavens, they've seen her violent.
It's none of your business, Nanny.
Except insofar as I have worked for you and grown to care for your children. Can you demonstrate to us that Mrs. Lammerton really is in this country?
Miss Gray.
I beg your pardon.
Can you? Have you seen her, Mr. Bax?
I really don't follow.
Mr. Bax.
No, I haven't seen her.
What? Well, of course she's in the country. What are you two talking about?
But where exactly?
What, do you think I left her on the quayside to the Indians, or what? Or perhaps you think, after what you've heard from Mrs. Nesbit, I killed her in revenge for, what, going native? Oh, it would make an opera, wouldn't it, Nanny? Or at least an operetta. Oh, Gordon, come. Surely you can't be wondering if
No, of course not, but... Well, it would be a positive relief to know where Olivia is. You've been so circumspect.
As to the name of the institution, I cannot and will not tell you.
But why not?
Because, my dear, inquisitive Nanny, I have vowed no one will know, no one will visit her. Now, are you satisfied?
To be honest, no.
But don't you understand?
I'm sorry, James. We need to know.
Very well. Have you 3 hours to spare? Olivia? Olivia, this is Nanny Gray. I told you about her. She's looking after the children, helping Lorna down at Thorn. Nanny Gray says the children are settling down extremely well, learning to make their own beds, fold their own clothes, all that sort of thing. Lally's even prepared to countenance your mother's bread pudding, I gather. And she took them to the theatre in Felixstowe. It was a great success. With both of them, wasn't it, Nanny? She started to take the drugs before we left. It calmed her down right away, thank God. But on the voyage home, she began to swell. Slowly, bigger and bigger. Lord knows what people thought. She stayed in her cabin after a time. It was like another pregnancy, only this time immense, as if she'd swallowed India. She's been calm ever since. Pray God it breaks the cycle, breaks the violence forever.
And is that why you hid her from her children? Because of her looks?
Well, don't you see, there's no need for them to see her like this. Another week and she'll be off the drugs and losing weight. There's no need for them to know about this at all.
But if the violence recurs, if the cycle isn't broken and this is just an interruption. There are many things the children need to know. Not so much about your wife's physical state, but her mental one. They need the truth. The world they're living in is more deforming and grotesque than any physical horror.
Miss Gray, you've seen her. I can't tell them the story. I simply couldn't do that to Olivia. Surely you understand that.
I'm terribly sorry. I understand completely. I think you're wrong, but I do understand. The trouble is, Mr. Lamberton, that I'm no sort of liar.
My children need someone to lead them into the future. Someone uncomplicated, Miss Gray. Coming here was a mistake for both of us. I realize that now. It leaves me very little choice.
Nanny, we're playing goats and tigers. Don't tell Granny where I am. What are you doing?
Lally? Lally, quickly! I've got her.
Tumty Kai.
Teak. I dare say that under the circumstances, Mr. Lamberton's insistence on finding another nanny is for the best. All the same, if there is any help I can give my successor, you have my Banbury address, and I trust you to get in touch with me there.